Welcome to video 3. Before we talk about the fun and exciting, sexy world of gear acquisition and all the rest of it, let us talk a little bit about safety. So first we will do safety, because safety first, folks. If you're ever going out into the mountains in the winter, you're gonna want to check the weather forecast. Obviously, just checking one source is probably not the best bet, so my personal method is to cross-reference, and by cross-reference I mean check 3 sources and take an aggregate of what they're telling you, but cross-reference the Met Office, the Mountain Weather Information Service, MWIS, and mountainforecast.com. These 3 sites will vary slightly. Sometimes some are more conservative than others, but if all 3 of them are telling you it's going to be howling gales and blizzards and horrible conditions, it probably will be. Met Office, MWIS, and mountainforecast.com. There you go. It's weather.
Very important.
It's weather. Check the forecast before you go. You don't want to get caught in the beast from the east on the top of Ben Nevis, or you'll probably die. The number 1 rule is, do not die. Need subscribers. Don't die on me. So, once you've checked the weather, and you see it's not going to be too bad, or even if it is bad, you're prepared to go out, because you will have to go out in bad conditions in Scotland. That just happens. If you only go out on fair weather days, you'll hardly ever go out. It might be worth going out on nice days the first few times you go out, just to get comfortable in the terrain and moving in your crampons and all the rest of it. But if you want to take it seriously and climb regularly and push up through the grades, you will be climbing in some very bad weather.
But it's quite fun.
If you've got the right clothes on. The other thing you're going to want to check very closely, especially when you're in these grade 1 and 2 gully kind of routes, is the Scottish Avalanche Information Service, SAIS. This is an excellent service. They have daily updates every single day throughout the winter and the climbing season, as it were. Most locations are covered. All the important ones, the places you're likely to be climbing, are covered by this forecast, and you can get up-to-date information about avalanche forecasts for the following day, ranging from moderate to incredibly fecking dangerous. I'll do a wee 5-minute video on reading the avalanche forecast and just how to read it. It's quite self-explanatory and straightforward, but it took me a wee bit of figuring out to really dig down into the detail there. But we'll do a video on reading the avalanche forecast and even digging a wee avalanche pit just to check once you're there yourself. So that's weather, tick. Avalanche forecast, tick. Conditions are looking good. So it's probably important to acquire some skills. You don't need that many skills to go out up mountains in the snow. It's fairly straightforward. If you're going out in good conditions, settled spells, good visibility, daylight hours, it's fairly straightforward to trudge up a hill with an ice axe, a burly pair of boots. However, seeing as we're talking about graded climbs here, there are certain skills you're going to need. They're not particularly hard to come by, and we'll run through some of them in more detail, the more important ones, rope work and things like that. We'll run through them in another video. There are lots of resources available to the average punter without mega bucks to spend, that you can acquire these skills quite comfortably, sometimes from the comfort of your own home. The one I used, and this isn't strictly a recommendation, I'm just saying it is a great resource. People can be quite sniffy in the outdoors world, but online YouTube videos, Vimeo videos, what have you, vlogs, blogs, posts from expert climbers, there's all sorts of stuff you can find online, but videos are particularly good at talking you through moving in crampons, rope work, abseiling, things like that. BMC, British Mountaineering Council, they've got a great selection of videos on just the basics of crampon movement, ice axe, self-arrest, things like that. You slip on the slope, you need to know how to use your ice axe to catch yourself. These are all quite easy to acquire and easy to practice. Don't have to spend hundreds upon hundreds of pounds on a course. However, if you have the money and you want to spend money on a course, go and do that. It's a great thing to do. I personally didn't have the money, so I watched lots of videos, found myself a snowy slope in the Cairngorms, nothing too extreme, and I slid about, practiced my Saxorex, practiced walking up and down hills in my crampons, just got comfortable moving in crampons and catching myself with my axe in case I took a fall. Did that from the comfort of my own home, watching YouTube videos, and then just went out on a snowy hill and had some fun. But if you want to spend hundreds of pounds, do that. Glenmore Lodge is an excellent facility. Bosh up there, have a whale of a time. Glenmore Lodge do, however, have an excellent series of winter mountaineering videos that you can watch over and over again, take notes, run through it all in your head, and then go out and practice. It's great fun. Another excellent resource are trainee mountain guides. At any given time in Scotland, in the Lake District in Wales, wherever, there are a number of trainee mountain guides keen to pass their winter mountain guiding qualification, whatever it's called, and they are looking for volunteer clients to take out on days to fill up their logbook, to log all these hours that they've taken people up. So, there are groups on Facebook just for this sort of stuff where you can put yourself forward as a complete newbie and they'll guide you on up hills and talk you through crampon movements and practice yourself rest. I've used a couple of these people in their training phase of their career on multi-pitch mountain climbing and all the rest of it when I was first getting into climbing. It's a great resource. Obviously buy them a crate of beer, slip them a book token, you know, as a thank you. Great practice, doesn't have to cost you anything. Another excellent resource are local climbing and mountaineering and even just hill walking groups where you will find lots of advanced or more experienced members. They'll have lots of meetups and days out and possibly minibus hires and all the rest of it if you don't have a car yourself. So look for a local mountain group, and if there isn't one, maybe set one up. Get some like-minded folks, acquire a few people with more experience who are keen to take on some of the more leadership role. Local mountaineering and climbing clubs are a great way of hooking up with people, getting out, having some fun with a wee bit of experience around you. Find someone
Somewhere.
who's got more experience than you. Climbers climb in pairs or in threes. So if you're willing to be a second and there's somebody you can hook up with to become a regular climbing partner with who's looking at leading at a slightly higher grade than you, it's a great way of pushing your own grade and learning the skills with relative safety with somebody with a bit more experience who knows a bit more about it, who's willing to lead some of these slightly higher graded routes. It's how I pushed on from grade 2 to 5 in a few months, just climbing with other people who were at a higher grade than me, pushed me to my limit, jumped 3 grades in one winter. It was amazing, wish I'd done it earlier. So as well as moving in the mountains, in your crampons, ice axe arrest, all the rest of it, you're going to want to acquire some basic fundamental skills that will keep you safe. Hopefully prevent you from dying. Skills like abseiling, placing gear, building a belay, just the very basics of having a rope on, being able to place some gear, bring up your second. These are quite easy skills to acquire. I watched lots of YouTube videos and tutorials. There's so many tutorials out there from mountaineers all over the world showing you how to place gear, how to build belays, how to tie figure of eights, munter hitches, all the rest of it. You can just sit night upon night watching them all and then bosh out to your local crag or rock or anywhere. I set up a couple anchors on the back of my door with some hooks and tied myself in. You can practice these skills in the comfort of your own home or the comfort of your local crag, or there's all sorts of ways you can do it. But there's so many resources online that you can watch and soak up and take notes and then just go out and practice yourself and become quite proficient at all of these skills and lead on to being a nice, safe
mover in the mountains.
I think that's most of the resources covered. It's certainly most of the resources that I've used over the last couple of years getting into this game. Mostly I used internet resources like YouTube videos and weather forecasts and all the rest of it.
However,
my biggest progress was made when I actually met up with a couple of people who were at a more advanced level than I was, and they just pushed me to my limit. chucked me in at the deep end, and I really gained a lot in confidence. Not necessarily in skills, 2 or 3 climbs at grade 4 doesn't make you have the skills to climb at grade 4, but it gives you the confidence to know what that sort of terrain feels like, the confidence to go forward and perhaps lead your own grade 4. I'll certainly not be leading grade 5 anytime soon, but I've climbed at grade 5, and it's nice just to know what it's like, and nice to know I can do it, and nice to know that I will one day lead it. However, for grade 1, 2 and 3, resources online, mountaineering clubs, trainee guides, lots of information about avalanches and weather and all the rest of it. It can all be found online. This, however, is not online. This is a book from the olden days. It has pages and pictures and everything. Get yourself a book or two like this, because it has lots of really interesting information about avalanches, grading systems. It even tells you what different areas of Scotland are like to climb in. Like the Cairngorms is great for early season mixed, Ben Nevis is great for later season ice. It gives you all sorts of information about climbing in Scotland. Doesn't cost too much. I got it as a birthday present. Didn't cost anything. So far, apart from the equipment I've bought, which I've tried to do cheaply, finding good deals, buying second hand. Apart from the equipment I've bought, I haven't spent a penny, and I'm already climbing at grade 3, 4, and eventually looking to push into 5. So the resources are out there.
Just go find them.
Looks like a goose.